Hey guys, in today's video, we get to talk with Rebekah Fogler from Rebekah F. Online Teaching. She will share with us some fun info about her time teaching in a kindergarten classroom. So let's go. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Rebecca, and I have been teaching online for 4.5 years. But before that, I was a kindergarten teacher for 5 years. So I can't believe that 10 years ago, I started my teaching career. It's been like 5 years and almost 5 years between in classroom and online. It just seems weird that it's been, that long since I've been in the classroom. But I thoroughly enjoyed my 5 years at a private school, teaching something that was kind of out of my comfort zone, but I ended up really liking it.
And what made you want to start teaching?
I've always loved to teach. I mean, if you saw me in high school, I was the one who was mentoring and tutoring other people who are struggling. I've been like a born teacher. It's just part of my personality. And I learn also by teaching. And that's a good thing is like if you are struggling with something, you learn it enough to teach somebody and then it solidifies for them and for yourself.
Yeah.
Especially like, the high school, peer groups. But and I've always loved the little kids.
Good.
So it's kind of nice being able to teach like the elementary schoolers.
Right, right. Okay, so what was your favorite part of teaching?
I love seeing like the light bulb turn on and them going, "Whoa, I got it." Or since they're kindergartners, just I loved it when they wanted to learn more.
Yeah.
I'm like, "This is above your level. This is too hard for you." "No, teacher, we want more. We want more." I'm like, "Okay, sure. You want to learn this? We'll go and do this." And the parents be like, "Why are you teaching this to my kid? They wanted to learn it. So
Right.
let's do it."
Okay. What is one thing you wish you knew before you started teaching?
I don't know, I kinda learned a lot while teaching, classroom management, and maybe, like, every year is different. Because I taught the same in the same school for 5 years, but
Okay.
every class had their personality,
Mhm.
and I had to change and adapt, as well as me, like, first year is like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I
Yeah.
teaching? The kids are going crazy." So you gotta get through that, and then as you go, "Okay, I know the curriculum, I know the crafts, I know those things. Now I have to learn the personality of each
Right.
kid." But every year is completely different when it comes to the kids' personalities, and you have to change towards that year in
Right. And
the classroom.
for me, that first year is just so hard because you're learning the kids' personalities, plus you're doing the curriculum.
As well
Yeah.
as each school has their own culture. Like, I was
Right.
so glad to have, like,
Right.
a mentor teacher next door in my K teacher who'd been there for 20 years at that school. Or because I'm like, "Okay, how does this school handle this holiday? How
Right.
does this school like, what are the traditions of this school?" Because every school
Absolutely.
has their own traditions. I don't wanna go say, "Change everything." I'm like, "Okay, first year, I'm doing it your way, the
Right.
way it's always been done, and
Right.
then we'll do some tweaks in the years
Yeah, that's a
later."
really good strategy. Okay, so what was the most difficult part of teaching for you?
Classroom management. I'm a softie. I really am. I let them get away with way too much, and then they walk all over me. And if you give a kindergarten teacher an inch, they'll take a mile, and then you can't get them back. So
Right.
I've had really to kind of crack down at the beginning and then loosen up later. And that's like about online teaching is I have to just do one on one, and I can't
That's
like
true.
reach in and go take the toy away. I can't do that. But
Right.
you're in the classroom, you can say, "Let me take this distraction to my desk and I'll give it back at the end of class." You can't do that online. But that's always been a hard time for me is of managing so many kids so many times and keeping things quiet when it needs to be quiet and raising hands and just all that classroom management um, is a little bit tricky for me.
Okay, do you have a funny story from when you were teaching?
Oh, lots. I have so many kid quotes. But what is in my kindergarten classroom, we used to teach the US states,
Okay.
the names and locations. So we'd have a map and we'd point to it and we learn the state names. Simple stuff, for kindergartners.
Yeah.
And one day a kid comes up to me and go, which state's a boy? Like, what? Which one's the boy state? What are you talking about? Well, we have Mississippi. So which one's the boy?
That's great. I love how their minds think.
I just talked about them like, gotcha.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Okay, so what was your favorite thing to teach?
I kinda taught everything, but my baby was the music.
Mm,
I took over the music programs, and it was
okay.
a small school. It was a very small school. It was 3-year-olds to 1st grade,
Okay.
and every year the K and 1 would combine, like all 25 of us because it was a small
Yeah.
private school,
Sure.
and We do a big program at Christmas time and then a big program in the springtime.
Okay.
And the kindergarten teacher before me was in charge of that. So when I came in, I'm a music ed major. They're like, "You're doing this." I'm what?
Not given
Okay,
the choice.
help me out. What are the traditions? Learn that. And it was so much fun to do so much with these students. And I love teaching them songs with sign language. And one year we did Mary Did You Know with white gloves and the black light. And the parents were like, wow, these like 5, 6, 7-year-olds doing like full on sign language to a song so wonderfully. Like, yeah, they can do it.
They can. Oh, they
I
can.
love just astonishing these parents with like a 45-minute concert twice a year.
Yeah. Yeah, and it takes a lot of prep. People don't, I
Yeah.
think, realize how many months they work.
Oh, we started Christmas back in like September, October,
Right.
and we would just meet once a week. Sometimes the first graders would come into the K room once a week and we just sing together. I would burn CDs so that they could practice on their own and we could practice in our room, and the last couple of weeks we'd go together on the stage and practice on the stage. But I love doing that because it incorporated music into the classroom as well. And it's kind of a fun thing. And I use music in the classroom all the time with transitions from one place to the next place. And
Sure.
a lot of fun.
What is the funniest thing a kid ever asked you?
Well, maybe right after I got married, like 2 months after I got married, a kid could go, "When are you gonna have a baby?" I'm like, not for a while." They just assumed, they're 5. They're like,
Right.
"Oh, you're married now? When's the baby coming?"
Right.
That's
Well,
really too fast. Now, the last year I was teaching, I was pregnant, my 5th year teaching,
okay.
and my baby was due in May. And so I told my principal, that this is my last year of teaching, and then I'm going to step away for a while. And that's when I started doing it online. When she was 5 months old that fall. So a couple years ago, I started a YouTube channel to kind of chronicle some tips and tricks of teaching online. I used to be a fully VIP kid, but now I've stretched out to other companies. So I'm without school now, teaching science experiments and math games for ages 3 to 8. The math games are for the kindergarten level, ages 4 to 6. The science experiments are for ages 3 to 8, so siblings are totally welcome to join in. And they're fun little hands-on things. I also teach with Bling ABC, did a little bit with GoGo Kid, a little bit with iTutor Group, just trying out different companies. But the first one was VIP Kid 4.5 years ago.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been great. Thanks so much to Rebekah for joining me today. Don't forget to head on over to her YouTube channel. You can find the link to that channel in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.